Topping today's news, we hear from the Prime Minister on the PLP's 4-year anniversary. 24 families in Fox Hill presented with clear title for their land. We hear from the Director of Education on the controversial Creole buddy policy in schools, and the Royal Bahamas Police Force celebrating Forensic Science Week. This is your JCN Evening News. I'm Jarino Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us. Yesterday, September 16th, marked the 4th-year anniversary of the Progressive Liberal Party's rule under the leadership of Prime Minister Philip Davis. And the Prime Minister is confident that he and his team is leading the country in the right direction. In a video message released on Tuesday afternoon, he had this to say to the nation.
I feel optimistic about our country. We are finally going in the right direction. Even in hard times, there are moments to find tremendous opportunity. We can build an economy that truly includes everyone. Too many Bahamians have been overlooked because of outdated definitions of who deserves a chance. It's time to throw those out. My mission is to make sure every Bahamian has the opportunity to realize their God-given potential. We're changing the economy, creating more paths to security and success. And 4 years in, I still feel blessed to be able to do this.
While the cabinet ministers continue to meet weekly, Mr. Davis and the other parliamentarians return to the House of Assembly to continue the work of the people on behalf of the people. They'll return on October 8th. And as the PLP celebrate 4 years coming to power, shortly after that victory, the Prime Minister named Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper as the Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation. On Monday, we asked the Deputy Prime Minister to put into account or give us an update on his performance as the minister after 4 years in that portfolio.
Well, I'm pleased with the work of the stakeholders. The employees and management executives of the Ministry of Tourism have done a phenomenal job, and it's evidenced in the numbers. We have broken records for 3 consecutive years, and this year we anticipate, all things being equal, that we will break last year's record. We continue to work steadily forward. There's more work to be done. We continue to press forward in terms of attracting visitors to our shores, in terms of improving airlift, in terms of improving stopover visitors, in terms of improving the product. This is always a work in progress. Am I happy with the progress? Yes. Is there more to do? Yes. Will we continue to be working steadily for the Bahamian people? Absolutely yes.
Mr. Cooper said the team at the Tourism Development Board is doing an excellent job promoting the Bahamas and attracting visitors from around the world.
The Tourism Development Corporation I'm mostly proud of. It's about empowering Bahamians. It's about improving the quality of life of Bahamians, improving the product, getting more people into business in terms of tours, etc. We provided a lot of grants to improve room inventory in the short-term rental space. We've done a lot of grants to young Bahamians and not so young Bahamians who are getting into tourism-related entities. I'm really proud of the work we've done there. There's been a lot of collaboration with all of the stakeholders and the promotion boards. We say thanks to them as well.
The Tourism Development Board is the official organization that encourages travelers to visit the Bahamas. Title to land, it is often not accessible as it should be. But now Prime Minister Philip Davis is touting the merits of the newly passed land reform bills. Last night at the Fox Hill Community Center, he delivered conveyances to 24 families in the Fox Hill community, giving them clear title to the land on which they live.
We are saying to Bahamians everywhere, your struggle with unclear title, with missing records, endless disputes, this struggle must end. We are creating a fair system where land rights disputes are resolved clearly, where records are properly kept, where families are not left in limbo. This is one example of what that looks like in practice. By giving clear title to families who once had none, we knock down one more barrier. We bring one more group of Bahamians into the circle of security.
Keith Bell, the minister responsible for housing and urban renewal, who was also present, said in addition to Fox Hill, there's a lot of similar issues in areas like Baines and Grantstown and Camp Road. He explained how these situations arise and how the new legislation helps to resolve them.
But what has happened is, even in those areas where you have significant land title issues, you have, for example, an individual who may have gotten their house from their grandmother. They would have died and left it for their children. Nobody would have applied for letters of administration, and there's no will. And so now whoever is living in the house may need renovation. They may want to get a mortgage. They want to sell to maybe get to go someplace else. They can't do any of that because now they have to go back and apply for letters of administration in all of those estates. And so it means now they have to go and try and find all of the death certificates, and it's almost an impossible task to satisfy that requirement. What we have been able to do through the compulsory acquisition is families who are entitled to the land, who are actually living on the land, we're able to, through compulsory acquisition, acquire the land in the name of the Minister of Housing and then give it back to them for a nominal fee. And that is what we have done here tonight in Fox Hill. We've given 24 families, as you'll witness, and we're looking at doing it in the same thing in the Family Islands and other areas as well.
With clear title to land, the owners can now build on it, they can pass it down to family, or they can borrow against it. On Tuesday, Belinda Wilson, president of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, raised concerns about a Creole buddy-speaking system in the public schools, as there has been a rise in the number of students, especially at the primary school level, that speak very little or no English at all. Wilson said the union was unaware of the policy. Today, we hear from the Director of Education, Mrs. Dominique McCartney-Russell, who explains how that buddy Creole system works in the public schools.
We have over the years, as a practice, embraced a buddy system that supports students for whom English is a second language. And so this informal practice pairs the ESL student with a classmate or schoolmate who will help them acclimate to the school environment, not just academically but socially, until the student gains confidence to navigate the campus life.
McCartney-Russell explained that the Bahamas Education Act requires the government to provide access to all children between the ages of 5 and 16 to be able to enroll in schools by their parents to ensure that they have a fair access to education. Meanwhile, the Bahamas Union of Teachers president is requesting the Ministry of Education provide the written Creole buddy policy to the union, including which schools the system is officially operating in, when was the policy implemented, and who was consulted on that policy. Wilson also noted that she sent a note to the Minister of Education, Glenys Hannah Martin, asking her for the government's plans to address what she describes as a, quote, very serious matter, end quote, in the public schools. And finally, in this segment, crime continues to be a challenge in the country, and to solve various crimes, forensic science, including DNA, ballistics, and fingerprinting, are oftentimes crucial. Well, this week, the Royal Bahamas Police Force is celebrating Forensic Science Week, and today at the police headquarters, they are hosting an exhibition. Ariana Neely visited that exhibition and filed this report.
The Royal Bahamas Police Force is celebrating its International Forensic Week this week by holding its first annual Forensic Science Week exhibit. This exhibit was created with the hopes of inspiring students to join the forensic science field. There were seniors from 32 schools, both private and public, that were invited to learn about forensics in a hands-on way. Taria Thompson, police inspector and coordinator for the event, spoke on what the students will take away from this year's activities. Thomas also walked media through what the list of events would be for this year's Forensic Week.
Well, they would start off initially with a crime scene, where they'll examine. Then they will go to the APHIS unit, where they would learn about fingerprints. Then to the exhibit control, which is the unit that would accept all exhibits that come into the lab. The IT unit, which will talk about the LIMB system, which is a system that tracks the evidence throughout this process. And they would go to the firearms unit, biology, toxicology, and chemistry units. And all of these units, when they go to them, they will discuss the piece of evidence that they would have collected from the crime scene.
Schools were invited to bring 10 students each based on students' interests in forensic science. Out of the 17 schools invited for Wednesday, Haniel Bow, admissions coordinator at Isbeth School, expressed his gratitude for the event as he believes that it will pose as a benefit for the students.
Monday we had the opening ceremony, and then we also had what we're calling an educational fair. This fair was 32 schools within the Providence district was invited to learn about forensic science in a hands-on way. We would have had a mock crime scene, and the students would have actually collected exhibits from these scenes and carried them to different units within the forensic science lab, where they would have learned about the purpose of each exhibit that was collected and how it helps in forensic science.
Although this event was the first of its kind in the Bahamas, it is hoped by the Royal Bahamas Police Force to become an annual occurrence. It was held under the theme Every Contact Leaves a Trace, which makes everyone aware that everything that they do and touch leaves a trace, whether it is physical or emotional.
I feel that it's going to be beneficial in terms that they will be able to take the information that they learn and they'll actually see that, hey, I can actually do something right at home. I can go to college and I can take up some forensic science studies. I can come back and I can actually help with ongoing investigations. It's actually a career that I can go to, and it's something locally. So in that regard, I think this was good for exposure, and I think that they'll benefit in that regard.
For JCN, this is Ariana Neely.
Thanks for that report, Ariana. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back following these commercials.